Welcome back to Dark Souls. Last time, we explored the Lucille Township, and we saw just how terrible the dark and the abyss can be if it's used for evil purposes. This time, we're gonna stop going on the main path through the township just for now, because there are some things I forgot to talk about. First, I forgot to read the things that you can get once you take down Artorias. First, from his soul you can create the Abyss Greatsword. The Greatsword belonged to Lord Gwyn's knight Artorias, who fell to the Abyss. Swallowed by the dark with its master, this sword is tainted by the Abyss, and now its strength reflects its wielder's humanity. Swallowed by the Abyss, we know this. Tainted his sword. How could it taint his sword? It had holy power in it. I wonder. There's a reason. And I also forgot to read the description for the armor of Artorias. Once you defeat him, his armor will appear as something you can purchase from Domo of Xena back in Firelink Shrine. I'd rather not do that, but I'll read it for now. Armor of Artorias the Abyss Walker, one of Gwyn's 4 knights. The death of the armor's owner can be surmised from the corrosive dark of the Abyss, and the tattered azure blue cape, once a symbol of pride and glory. Azure blue, completely... Yep, dead. And we're the true victor over the Abyss, or we'll become that, at least. Now that we've read those 2 descriptions off screen, I'd like to talk about Artorias and his design. I've mentioned before that Miyazaki was influenced by a dark fantasy manga known as Berserk. That's where the bone wheels come from. But also, the design of Artorias looks vaguely similar to the design of the protagonist of Berserk. His name was Guts. They both have a berserk form swinging about their sword. They're both right-handed holding a greatsword. They both have a wolf design. And they both even make the same pose in one image. I'll put it in the description if you want to see, if you don't believe me. And they're both crippled too. On one arm. Right. That's all I wanted to talk about. Since we're deviating from the main path today, the first thing I want to do is return to Firelink Shrine and turn in my Firekeeper's soul. Yeah, you actually can just go back whenever you want. This is basically time travel. Bonfires can let you time travel. Or the Lord Vessel can. That's still really weird. Yeah, come on. Thank you. Now we have +5. From Quaylag's sister, Fair Lady. And from here, first thing I'd like to do is return to the Lucille Sanctuary. Every bonfire in Lucille is warpable. First thing I'd like to do is return to the path where we entered, because I want to show you something. Once Artorias is defeated, something happens here. 2 Sanctuary Guardians appear. Don't fight them. It's suicide. Do not fight them. It's not worth it. But that is another way to get the Guardian Tail if you missed it. Just want to tell you that. Other than that, there's no real reason to fight them. Worthless. They don't even drop that many souls. I'd like to talk to Elizabeth now that we've made it a little further in Ulasil.
Thank goodness thou art safe. What is thy wish? I offer thee my all.
Well, I don't wish anything really, I just want to speak with you.
Thou art from a time far, far ahead. There are many things I wish to ask, but I know that I must not. The perils of our time are overwhelming enough.
So Elizabeth knows that we come from the future, but she doesn't want us to tell her what the future is like, because the perils of the Abyss in Ulasil is dangerous enough. It's enough of a threat. Anything else you have to say?
Was thine eye glancing hither? Thou needst not hide thy wonder. I am a mushroom, after all.
Huh. So Elizabeth seems to know that she is herself a mushroom that can just speak and be sentient. Maybe because she can speak, she was... No. I got it. Maybe she was the ancestor of all the mushroom people that we see in the Darkroot Garden later on. And the ones that we see in the Great Hollow, I don't know what to say about them. I don't know what they're doing there. I don't know what to say. She's probably the ancestor of all the mushrooms. The walking ones, at least. Thank you, Elizabeth. I think she'll say something else if you return to her. Rest at a bonfire and talk to her again. Wonder what happened. I wanna see.
Thank goodness thou art safe.
I wanna see.
Not long ago, I had another visitor. A human like thyself, from a faraway time. Only he was dreadfully odious, and I'm afraid that he is still amongst us. He wore a hat and a long black coat.
Another visitor. Oh, a hat and a long black coat. That sounds exactly like Marvelous Chester. I'm guessing he popped up through right into the Sanctuary Guardian like we did. I mean the Sanctuary Garden like we did. That makes sense how he'd know Elizabeth, because he met him on the way to the Royal Wood. Then he invaded us. Now that all that little stuff is over, next thing I want to do is return to the Ulasil Township, because we have a key we have to use. Back in the Ulasil Township, we're gonna go past the Battle of Stoicism, run up here, up the stairs, higher up the Colosseum. Right here we have a Soul of a Hero. You know what else we have? We have Reload the Area. I hate it when this happens. Here we have more of the... We have some statues here. They have wearing robes and... They have Ulasil catalysts in their hands. Maybe these were Ulasil sorcerers. But it looks like all these statues' heads were... snapped off. Wonder why. Now... I just wanna look a bit respectful. This is the door. An enchanted door. Let's use the crest key and open it up. What's that sound? A giant. He's carving. Hello.
A visitor, have we? Thou must be the one who freed Artorias. An old friend he was. Thanks to thee, he left this world with honor intact. And here I am, retired and blind. Of little help to thee, I'm afraid.
This giant seems to know Artorias, the Abyss Walker himself. Him and this giant seem to be friends, I'm guessing. And he seems to be thankful that we freed him from his, agony. Well, you're welcome, I guess? He's retired and blind, I'm guessing. He says he's blind. What's that stuff on his helmet? I'm guessing he made all those carvings, too. Retired from what? What did this giant do? Since he is near this Colosseum, I'm assuming he was some sort of gladiator? Forced to fight at the behest of the Ulysilians? That's all I can guess. We can buy these 2 carvings from him. The Hello carving. These are arch tree carvings, it's saying. It's weird. And he also sells Titanite. A lot of these different Titanite. This is probably the best place to get them. Now I'd like to talk to him.
If thou seekest to explore this domain, be wary of a black dragon. I fear thee no match for this terrible beast.
A black dragon. We saw that black dragon before. And this giant here is warning us to stay away from the dragon. Well, obviously we stand no chance. We can't take down an everlasting, or at least an ancient dragon. Can't take it down ourselves. Hey. How about you use that giant bow you have back there? That's a massive bow. I'm guessing he was a hunter?
There's very little to be said. What good is a dog with no hairs to hunt? But I'm lucky to be alive, I suppose.
No hairs to hunt. He is some kind of hunter. He seemed to have really big prey, though. Did he hunt dragons? What's very strange about this giant is that he can get actual formal English out. Very different from the giant blacksmith, who has very simple diction, and the other giants, the slaves at Sen's Fortress, who don't even speak at all. He's a lot smarter than they are. Maybe that's why he's a hunter, not a slave. Maybe in the Battle of Stoicism, this giant won the right to be in Anor Londo, and he was civilized there. Right. Not like this giant can help us much. All he's doing here is carving. Goodbye.
Farewell, human. Lead thy life as thou seest fit.
Lead thy life as thou seest fit. Not may the flames guide thee. Because what have the gods ever really done for giants? Enslave them, and a bunch of other terrible things. Because he doesn't really know what we're gonna do. That will bring forth the Age of Dark. Or at least we'll think about it now that we've seen what happened in Ulasil. We can't exactly do anything here. For now, I'd like to go back to Marvelous Chester and give him a stern talking to. Because I'm still pissed at what he did. On top of that, I'm also going to pick this Chaos Claymore up again. And on top of that, I also want my Dark Hand. Crest Shield. Perfect. Now let's go through the Coliseum and go see Chester. Let me go through. There's someone here. That's Artorias' tassel at the back of his head. Who are you?
You? Is that not the soul of the man who fell on this spot? He was a dear friend. I wish to pay proper respect with that soul. Would you be willing to part with it?
The soul of the man who fell on this spot would be the soul of Artorias, the Abyss Walker. A woman. She looks human-sized, actually. She wants to pay proper respect. It seems she made a makeshift grave using that ponytail. She was a friend of Artorias. Well, sure. You can have it. Not like I'll need it.
Thank you. You are very kind. Please take this. I no longer need it.
And from her, we get her weapons, the Dark Silver Tracer and the Gold Tracer.
May the Lord guide thee.
May the Lord guide thee. She doesn't say may the flames guide thee. May the Lord. That must mean Gwyn. Right. Let's talk about her. Seems to have spikes all over her. She has heels too. And she has claws on her hands. On her gloves. I'd like to take a look at those tracers. The Gold Tracer. A curved sword. Curved sword used by the Lord's Blade Kiran, one of Lord Gwyn's 4 knights. Kiran brandishes her sword in a mesmerizing dance, etching the darkness with dire streaks of gold. Lord's Blade Kiran? Mesmerizing dance. She says she no longer needs them. It's her. And the Dark Silver Tracer, a dark silver dagger used by the Lord's Blade Kiran of Gwyn's 4 knights. The victim is first distracted by dazzling streaks of the Gold Tracer, then stung by the vicious poison of this dagger. This is Lord's Blade Kiran, but she's not a god, not like Artorias or Ornstein. She seems to be human-sized. But I don't think she is human, because what about the Painting Guardians? I highly doubt that they're human. She was a Lord's Blade. The blade of the she was an assassin for Lord Gwyn, taking out his enemies. along with the rest of her Lord's Blade companions. And I'm guessing those Lord's Blades would eventually go on to become the Painting Guardians. In fact, I'd like to take a look at this. The Dark Silver Tracer. They fight. This weapon operates like a Painting Guardian's sword. All I'm guessing here is that Kiran came here to Ulasil to follow out Artorias because she was in love with him. Before I go, I wanna take a good look at her. The Lord's Blade armor. I'm suggesting we don't provoke her, but I can't go without a kiss. Oh, danger. I can't go without a kiss. I'm sorry, Artorias, but I kissed your girlfriend in front of your grave. Please forgive me for that. Please forgive me. She doesn't have her weapons anymore because she gave them to us. Goodbye, Lord's Blade Kiran. We see her in the future, next to Artorias' grave in Darkroot Garden. Dead. In the Darkroot Garden, we saw her body, holding the Hornet Ring. She would take that soul, go wherever the grave is supposed to be positioned in the future, and die. We still haven't found Sif yet. I wonder where he is. Now that that's taken care of, I want to go take care of Chester. I want to speak with him, because I want my revenge. Hello, Chester.
Oh, you. You have quite some nerve, or are you just thick? Fine then. What is it that you need?
Quite some nerve, huh? If I recall correctly, Chester, you attacked first. You assaulted me. You invaded me. The first thing you did when you came into this all unfamiliar universe, you attacked the only kindred spirit you could find. What a friend, right? I'd like to talk to him, because I want to tell you something, Chester. You met Artorias. We defeated him.
Did you really slay Knight Artorias? I'd heard the Abyss found him first, but even still, that's absolutely treacherous. Yes, magnificently so.
Treacherous, because you slay a god, the Blades of the Dark Moon will be coming after you. At around this time, I don't think Gwendolyn was the leader of the Blades of the Dark Moon, because the occult rebellion with Velka and Havel didn't happen yet, so I'm guessing that Velka was still the leader of the Blades of the Dark Moon, punishing sinners. Anything else, Chester?
Believe it or not, Ulasil has brought the Abyss upon itself, fooled by that toothy serpent. They upturned the grave of primeval man and incited his ornery wrath. What could they have been thinking? But to you and I, it's all ancient history. You have to ask yourself, does it really matter?
Where do we begin? Ulasil brought the abyss upon itself, fooled by a toothy serpent. There's only one thing I can think of. What other toothy serpent would ask humans to dig up another ancient human to bring about the abyss? Darkstalker Koth. This is what he was doing in the past. He came to the first kingdom of men, and he told them to dig up the primeval man. He once was dead, but they brought, or at least he buried himself alive, but then the Ulusil sorcerers dug him up, and they drove him mad. Very mad. Enough for him to turn on them and turn them into monsters. But to us in Chester, it's all history, because we can't really change the course of history like this. Because in the future, it seems that this primeval man eventually died, or someone killed it. Obviously not Artorias. Or did Artorias defeat him? And did we change the course of history by being here? That's what we call a time paradox, and I don't know how to explain those. Chester. Anything else?
Well, you've quite the nerve. I've had enough of you. I'll be seeing you if you survive your travels.
You've had enough of us, huh? Well, Chester? Meet Chaos Claymore.
What now? You think this is all my fault? How very, very petty of you. Very petty indeed.
Just as vile in real life. You know, he doesn't really stand a chance against us, though. All he can do is really use his crossbow. Goodbye.
You win. Please. Oh, please. Have mercy.
No mercy for the invaders. And from Chester's body, we pick up the snickering top hat and Chester's suit. Let's take a look. Black leather long coat worn by marvelous Chester, a man of mystery lost in the past. This exquisitely sewn aristocratic suit allows its wearer to move in silence, lending well to stealth. A man of mystery lost in the past. And he would die here anyway. Black top hat worn by marvelous Chester, a man of mystery lost in the past. The wearer of this top hat cracks a dubious, permanent grin. The curse of Chester. Right. First, let's talk a bit about Chester before we keep going. Let's discuss his origins, because, judging from his clothes, he is not from our time. He could not have been from our future. I think he was from an even further future. Because what Marvelous Chester is a reference to another From Software game that was being developed around the same time as Artorias of the Abyss, known as Bloodborne. He looks almost exactly like a hunter from that game. Hunters who hunt beasts and don't really use armor. Thing is, hunters used guns, and Chester doesn't use a gun. I'm guessing he was in the in-between period between Dark Souls, where people were using armor, crossbows, swords, and all, and between Bloodborne, where they were using regular clothes and hunter tools and guns. He was in that middle time where guns haven't been invented yet. But they still realized that the only way to fight beasts was not with armor, but to outspeed them. Now let's talk about what else Chester has done while he spent his time here. This silver pendant was in a chest. I highly doubt Artorias would have put this in a chest, especially where he was going. That's because it was stolen from him while Artorias was walking through the township to get to the primeval human. Chester assaulted him and stole his silver pendant. And I think he also stole something else. He stole the wolf ring, his special ring, granting Artorias extra poise. He had to have done that, because we don't see that wolf ring with Artorias' grave. We don't even see it in the past. We see it in Darkroot Garden on a cliff. I'm guessing that body, holding the wolf ring all the way back in Darkroot Garden, was Chester's body. He never made it back to his own time, because he doesn't know how to use bonfires. Or he definitely doesn't have the Lord's soul. I mean the Lord Vessel. And that's Marvelous Chester. A very dubious man who, in all honesty, deserved what he got, because Bloodborne kinda stinks. A lot of people really like it, but I personally don't, because any game that takes away this thing has problems. Now, I'd like to explore this one little area of the Royal Wood that I haven't yet. Let's take a look at what we have around here. We have some woods, we have some trees and abyss crystals. We have something in the back. Looks very familiar. Dogs. These are abyss attack dogs. Hunting hounds corrupted by the abyss. Simple enough. Here we have a little passage where the water's coming from, and another soul item. Here we have another one. Another stinking dog. They don't stand a chance now. Yeah, we have all these trees. They're perfectly cut, too. Maybe this is where that giant was getting trees to make his carvings. Okay, that's not natural. One hit. I think that's all of them. And now, we can see a nice view of the water. This is Darkroot Basin, or at least it would be. The Black Dragon. We saw him over there on the bridge in the Royal Wood, and it seemed he was flying down there. Yes, this little lake, this little pond, would eventually fill up to eventually become the Darkroot Basin, where a Hydra would take its residence. At the moment, there is a black dragon around there. Unfortunately, I cannot live with that thing being around. If only Hawkeye Goth was here. He could just stand there, he could just stand in place and shoot his giant arrows right into that dragon's heart and bring it down. Unfortunately, we can't exactly contact Hawkeye Goth because one, we don't work with him, and two, he's not in Ulasil. Who knows where he is? He could be traveling somewhere. But maybe that giant could help us. He is a dragon slayer, even though he is blind, or at least he claims to be blind. I'll see you back at that giant, and we're gonna tell him about that black dragon that we saw over the ravine. Right. Here we are. I want to go pay that giant a visit again. I'm gonna tell him about that black dragon. I just want to turn the HUD off. It feels respectful. Because I love this character. I love this giant.
But Mara, is the black dragon posing me duress?
Yes. The black dragon is posing me duress. Giant, can you help with that?
Yes. I thought as much. He's called Calamite. Ferocious dragon indeed. Even mighty Anna Londa dared not provoke his ire. I see little good coming from this, but thy intent is to persevere to the bitter end.
Calamite. The black dragon Calamite. A dragon so ferocious that even Anor would dare not provoke him. Our intent, as the chosen undead, or now the Dark Lord, is to persevere to the bitter end. Will you help us fight this dragon?
Good, good. What is bravery without a dash of recklessness? I've taken a liking to thee, and I owe thee much for thy service to Artorias. Now, watch, and see how Goth hunts dragons. Yes. A truer shot was never loosed. That bat will be grounded for a good spell. The rest is in thine hands. I await good tidings. Dragon slaying. Knighthood's highest calling.
Well, Hawkeye Goth. That's who this giant is. The Knight of Gwyn himself. But he's a giant. I understand the little gods of, if anything, but not giants. They're not even of the god race. At least Kiran was. Well, how did he become one of the Gwyn's 4 knights? He probably won that right through the Battle of Stoicism, And probably with that giant great bow. Because even though he was blind, he shot Calamite right out of the sky. That is amazing. And Goth is also amazing. Makes sense for one of the 4 knights to be so wise. Thank you for helping us. Now just leave the rest to me. We'll take down Calamite. Where's the rest of my stuff? Yeah. We're gonna go take down that dragon. It'll be grounded for a little while, so we'll be able to deal with it. Yes, there's still ambience. Good. A dragon that even Anor wouldn't fight. We brought back a little bit of his spark. We gave him the spark to hunt one more dragon. And when you give the soul of Artorias to Kiran, after she gives you her weapons, she leaves. To make a real grave for Artorias. Retired. Now we've met all of the 4 Knights of Gwyn. We've met them all. We fought 2 of them, and the other 2 were on good terms. What an eventful life the Chosen Undead has. If anything, even more than any other protagonist in the Souls series, he has definitely made the most accomplishments in his undead life. Why are my feet floating? I don't know. Now it's time for us to go and finish him off. But even grounded, he'll put up a good fight. He is an ancient dragon. Skyward or no, he won't be he won't be defeated easily. I think our Chaos Claymore will do the job just fine. We go through the fog gate, and there's no way back from here. We won't be needing this covetous gold serpent ring. If anything, I'll probably be needing one of these. Just in case. I don't see Calamite, but he is down there. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot to mention something. I upgraded my Chaos Claymore all the way to the maximum, using my Red Titanite slabs. My Red Titanite slab and the rest of my chunks. Just wanted to make that clear. And with that, I want you to take a good long listen to this boss theme. Black Dragon Calamite. Black Dragon Calamite has finally been defeated. If you haven't noticed what I was trying to do, I was trying to cut his tail. Because if you cut his tail, like every other dragon, you get a special weapon. You get the Obsidian Greatsword. The Obsidian Greatsword reads, "This great axe, one of the rare dragon weapons, is formed by the tail of the one-eyed black dragon Calamite, the last of the ancient dragons. The mystical power of its obsidian blade will be released when held with both hands." I couldn't get that tail. It took me 3 attempts just to beat him in general. If Ornstein and Smo isn't the hardest boss, it's Calamite. And also, I would like to look at the ring he dropped. The Calamity Ring. A ring enchanted by the orange eye of Calamite, the bringer of calamity. Doubles damage received by its wearer. A useless ring befitting of no finger. Best left unknown, or at least well hidden. When So, when we got grabbed by Calamite, that seems to be... that thing in its eye cursed us with double damage. The Eye of Calamity. And now, we can add felling an ancient dragon to our list of achievements. Thank you, Chaos Claymore, but I don't think we'll need you any longer. Your time is done. Thank you. Now it's time to switch to our good old longsword. Next time on Dark Souls, we return to Hawkeye Goth and tell him of our achievements. See you guys then.